a Canadian entertainment podcast. It's a Canadian entertainment podcast. It's a Canadian entertainment podcast. It's the Canadian entertainment podcast, hosted by Ben Stagger.
Check. Mic 1. Check, everybody. It is official. We are back with another episode of the Canadian Entertainment Podcast, September 2026 edition. Here we are now. Entertain us, as the famous band Nirvana said. And if history went a certain way, would be a good chance Nirvana would be from British Columbia. But the timeline we are in right now, they were from Washington, the state, not British Columbia, the province. So in terms of the way things could be, sometimes we cover Canadian topics, entertainment topics, the way things could be or the way things are in other timelines and dimensions. For example, there would be a world where it is possible that Elmer Fudd from the Looney Tunes was Canadian if he just... Okay, everybody, sorry. We are so back. And that was a whistly so. You've been whistling that whistly little noise that comes out of my mouth sometimes. Spending a lot of time EQ. That's why we've been gone for so long. I've just been spending a lot of time just like seeing what kind of sound, been playing with the sound, EQing, and we have settled on this sound for the podcast. We think my voice sounds best at these settings, and we think this, we've done some testing with various, audiences, just to get their opinions, and this is the right sound, the mids, the highs and lows are this is the ideal tone for, I think we surveyed about 90 people, and this is the right tone for someone they would listen to cover all things Canadian entertainment. So sometimes you gotta wait for something good to happen, and I think I am so sorry to the loyal listeners who we may have disappointed by, missing our 20-day schedule, which we've been off a few times. I'm sorry with all my heart. But the tone sounds great, and from some test audiences, this is, just try to expand our sort of listener base, because everything's in business. This is a business at the end of the day, and everything is about expand. And if it were my way, I wouldn't be doing that, but I don't have the power to. Well, maybe I shouldn't have this negative attitude, but I don't know if I have the power to change how our freaking society is constructed right now. So unfortunately, yes, expand. How can we expand the podcast? We were working on the tone of my voice and the timbre of this for at least 30 to 35 days. So you get what you pay for. This is free. This is just this is just a guy with a mic telling it how it is in a Canadian entertainment context. And I'm not saying you get what you pay for. That wasn't trying to be dismissive at all. But oh, I'm can be my own worst Canadian entertainment enemy in so many different facets. But that's just life, right? Sometimes enemy number one is the person you look into that Canadian entertainment mirror at, and it can be you. But don't let it be you. Learn to be friends with that person on the other side of the mirror, and you will be surprised at what they may tell you. If only that evil, that wicked, that mean and disgusting witch from Snow White would have learned to befriend that little green man in the mirror, maybe her life would be so different. Because if I'm not mistaken, the seven dwarfs rolled a boulder on her and she ain't with us no more. And I mean, damn, man, what a way to go. I feel like, she's part of a select, group of people who have gotten a boulder rolled onto her. So, I mean, maybe she found community in the afterlife or whatever. I know she's not technically Canadian, but red apple, red maple leaf on the flag. She's freaking Canadian and part of the Canadian entertainment sphere. Yeah. There have been a number of times I have almost been tricked by someone who's knocked on my door with a red Canadian flag, and they have said, "Oh, I picked this myself." Eat it. Canadian entertainment podcast host Ben Steger. Eat it. And I've almost been duped so many times, but I'm like, where have I seen this before? And then, I just call up a couple friends and they say, no, buddy, no, nobody, no. And they tell me on the phone, they go over the whole movie and story and even refer back to the original text of the Brothers Grimm tale of Snow White. I believe it's a Brother Grimm. And they say, nobody, no, do not eat that. This is what it would be like if Snow White took place in Canada. You are the proverbial Snow White, and you just dodged a whole story. So, I mean, maybe your life is a bit more boring because you don't have to run away in the woods and meet 7 Canadian dwarves and be saved by a Canadian prince, but buddy, that would have been a nightmare, and you have a really bad immune system due to your celiac disease and other undiagnosed things, so you dodged a massive dodgeball that was coming towards you, so be grateful, buddy. And then I have to say, you're a rock star. That's what I say to my friends on the other side of that. I say, you are actually a rock star. You remind me of Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman from the Guess Who when they were just getting started, when they're just a small little rock band from Winnipeg. You have that spunk. Seriously, I don't know if you know how to play guitar, but go and get one now because you're rocking with the info you gave me. You saved my freaking life. So I would suggest learning how to play guitar because I'm pretty sure this is how Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings got their start too. They warned a friend not to eat a poisonous Canadian flag due to a Snow White Canada thing happening back in the 70s too. History has a funny way of repeating itself, and I guess it repeated itself with me. This happened in the 70s in Winnipeg, and that is how the Guess Who started. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I heard that in a dream. But again, as I've said many times on this podcast, I consider dreams part of my own reality because it's like, how much do you sleep? And it's like, oh, so all that is just not part of my life, so I don't count those moments in the storybook of my life? I think not. Stop trying to cheat me of my moments. I've done a lot of stuff while sleeping in a dream world, and a lot of stuff that I'm very proud of, I've opened up my own water park. I have given so much money to cartoon characters who needed help, such as Mr. Magoo and Roger Rabbit and Bugs Bunny. And so when people say that, oh, you can't add things that have happened to you on your dreams and resumes for jobs, I say, are you in the head? I say that. I don't know how many times we gotta do this thing. So I count every single moment as a part of my life. Every single moment is a learning lesson. I've learned so much in my own dreams. I've done so many good things in my dreams. A lot of people will tell you, if you ever have a chance to go and visit with the community I interact with in my dream state, they will tell you so many good things. So if I am not allowed to put that on a resume to get a job at 102.1 The Edge, I'm at a loss. Maybe I was born in the wrong generation. Okay? So yeah, okay. We're having fun here. A lot has happened since we last spoke in August. We are in a whole new world, a whole new Canadian entertainment landscape. So much has happened. I'm sorry for the delay. As I said, we were working on the tone. I was working on a couple things in the behind the scenes sort of areas of my life, working on a number of projects. Sometimes I feel as if, oh gosh, everybody, it's scary, but I have not posted an Instagram reel in about 7 days. I did post a 3-minute reel last night, but promptly archived it. I felt I didn't get the edit right. I was like, am I off in this? I had 3 lovely friends help me out with it, but I just felt something was amok. I cannot doubt myself, but this is a long break away from Instagram Reels, and it breaks my heart. But I've been working on some other projects in the background, but it breaks my freaking, I'm going to say it, Canadian entertainment heart, not posting on Instagram Reels for 7 days, minus an Instagram reel I posted last night that got shown to about 428 people saw it, 12 people liked it, and I promptly archived it because I felt I didn't get the edit right, and I felt maybe my performance was off. I feel so bad from the bottom of my heart. I was trying to get my friends. They did such a great job, but I think I kind of had a bit of I just didn't have the idea there. But you have to give yourself grace when you feel like you're not performing at your best abilities. So, and again, I don't know who's trying to with me, but as you can see, if you're watching this on video, or I rubbed it with the microphone, there's lots of people who are just so good with sounds and stuff. I know a lot of Canadian Foley artists listen to this podcast, so you can tell that, yes, I am wearing a Breathe Right strip on my nose right now because I have an undiagnosed potential sinus infection that I've been battling for the past 2 weeks. And you can hear that again. I scratched it with the microphone for the audio listeners. What I was gonna speak on right there is the fact that, yes, it is Life Brand. I know a lot of people could just tell that's Life Brand. And if you're an international viewer, Life Brand is one of the most goated brands in all of Canadian entertainment. A massive part of the Canadian entertainment sphere in Canada is this store called Shoppers Drug Mart. And now some people will say, well, that has nothing to do with Canadian entertainment, but I don't think you're looking into it far enough. Where's a place I can buy TY Beanie Babies. That's pretty entertaining. Where is a place that I can buy Snoopy blankets with Snoopy on them? Where is a place that I could buy pop figurines? I stare at them for about 15 minutes when I go into a Shoppers Drug Mart, just thinking about all the little stories they all could have, and just really looking at all. It's like a museum in there. And not to mention, Shoppers Drug Mart I get medication off of them, so I'm able to perform in a clear mental mind in my Canadian entertainment pursuits. So if that's not Canadian entertainment, I don't know what the is. And yeah, I'm censoring myself hard right now. I don't know if I have a bit of an edge, but when you get a sinus infection, it makes you say some crazy things, especially a Canadian sinus infection, a Canadian entertainment sinus infection. Well, a lot has been going on in Canadian entertainment. We have to give some massive Canadian entertainment news would be the fact. And this is old news by the time this is coming out, but we got to give it up for our fellow Canadian entertainer, Veronica Slowikowska, for making it onto SNL. I snap for you. I snap for you. Incredibly happy for Veronica. We are excited to see what she brings. And as we have heard, there has not been another person on the cast from Canada since Norm Macdonald. So the cast is really going to have to adjust in October when Veronica celebrates Canadian Thanksgiving. And when she's, I assume, catch up with CFL and stuff like that. So I think she's going to bring a lot of Canadian entertainment to the show that will rub off onto the other cast members. And I think this is just a whole new beacon of light into the Canadian entertainment sphere. So kudos to you, Veronica. Hats off to you. We cannot wait to see what you do. It's going to be awesome. If you follow me on various social media platforms, you have most likely seen that last month, August, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. I got to appear on a CHCH, yes, the CHCH, that the premier television station in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. For those who don't know what Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, it's kind of like the Chicago of Ontario. It's in Canada. There's New York City is kind of like Toronto. Hamilton, Ontario is like the Chicago. So I don't know what television stations Chicago has. Maybe I am wrong to say that the NPR Tiny Desk concerts are filmed in there. And guess where me and Rick Z from CHCH were sitting? That's right. We were sitting at a desk. And it certainly wasn't the biggest desk I've ever seen. So there's a lot of parallels in certain things in life. So when I say Hamilton's like Chicago, I believe it's possible that that is where they film Tiny Desk concerts for NPR. CHCH, believe me next time, because what's up? So yeah, we got to gab. He grilled me. I told a lot. Maybe it's always hard to look back at an interview. I wasn't in the driver's seat. I was in the passenger seat, and it wasn't carpool karaoke. It was a formal grilling that I'm sure many heads of state have felt when it was intense. It was intense. It felt like Larry King. It felt like Barbara Walters. It felt like Peter Mansbridge. Yes, I gave two other examples internationally, but it was intense. He grilled me, and I answered to the best of my abilities. I was like, this is my moment to answer some questions. Let's go off, Queen. So should I say go off King because Canada's ruled by a king now, King Charles? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. King Charles with a C. No one else has a C. Yeah. Duh. Anyways, so, I mean, I said what I needed to say, and I hope they invite me back one day. I would love to have my own television show on there. It's been a while since CHCH has had some original programming. So, CHCH, come on, guys. Give me a chance. Let me and my buddies create a television show there. We single-handedly will bring cable back in Canada if you just give us a chance. I swear with all my heart. I feel like and this is just a side topic, you gotta ride the wave when you're podcasting because, you just gotta, because you never know when you're gonna hit a roadblock. But I feel it's so courageous right now that I feel like if I was in King Arthur's position, King Arthur, England, ruled by the same royal family as Canada. King Arthur, Excalibur, it's all Canadian. Anyways, side note. I feel like if I were given the opportunity to pull the sword out of the stone right now, I would be able to pull it so hard. And, so gently, so nimble, so the way you need to pull it to do it. Oh my God, but Sword in the Stone, if it was 2025, it would so be a podcast setup ingrained in a stone, and then the right person with the right tone, the right attitude comes along and pulls. It's probably going to be a microphone, which many say is the stone of the 21st, is the sword of the 21st century. I feel like I'd pull it out with such a unique touch and just be able to be the marvel of the world. So I just feel it, and it's a Canadian story because yes, we're ruled by the same king. If anyone knows where that is, let me know, and I'd love to go there and have an opportunity to pull something out of a stone. Whatever's there now, it's most likely a microphone to fit with the whole 21st century we're in. Let me know, and I'd love to do it. But yeah, man. Yeah. There's just been a lot of stuff been going on behind the scenes. I have, as many know, I consider myself an entertainer, right? Because I've said in the interviews as of late, you really have to do it all in Canada, Canadian entertainment industry. You don't just, you're trying so many things. There's arts funding is, it's not as much as other places, but I'm sure it's pretty decent. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. Well, kind of. I shouldn't say arts funding, arts opportunities, perhaps. I don't know. Kind of. I don't know. But anyways, you literally have to do everything in entertainment. And some people may clip this out of context and say, oh, he's literally just doing everything because he feels like this is the only way he could get a shot. No, I enjoy doing everything, but I just know that I actually do enjoy doing all facets of entertainment, and I just know that this is technically what I need to do. Anyways, so in addition to podcasting, sometimes, making Instagram reels, we haven't gone to YouTube Shorts. Would the loyal fan base, the loyal Canadian entertainment podcast listeners follow me if I went to YouTube Shorts. We have to ask ourselves that question. But what I was literally going to say is so we do the things on stage, sometimes we do stand-up comedy, sometimes we do improv, sketch, and as many loyal listeners would know, I also have a heart for song. My heart beats for a song. I'm sorry, and I have to because it's Canadian entertainment, you literally have to do everything. I have to write a song every now and then. I have to record some music every now and then. So in August, I was straight up just really just hitting as in the lab recording an album, another musical album, because you literally have to. It's Canadian entertainment. Everyone knows this. Dan Aykroyd, Shania Twain, Rita McNeil. Everyone knows Rita McNeil. Look her up. Microphone. Sorry, microphone was really... Who's trying to... with me right now? Who's trying to me over right now? I just naturally censor myself, and I think it's wonderful. But yeah, as in the lab with the pen and the pad. As, again, this is another good example. If it were different, in another universe, Eminem is Canadian. He's from Sarnia. Sarnia just... the borders extend to Detroit, to Michigan. Sarnia takes up all of Michigan in another universe. We all know this. I can remote view I'm actually remote viewing in a different dimension right now. And yes, I see how Canada's drawn out, and the city Sarnia is a province in this other dimension. Yes, I see it. Hi, I see it right now. So the border it just goes all the way to Detroit, and yes, I'm at the Hall of Records, the Sarnia Hall of Records in the province of Sarnia in this other universe right now. I'm remote viewing right now. And yes, of course, Eminem was born in the province of Sarnia. And he lives in yes, I'm seeing it now. The Hall of Records has everything here. Yes, the movie he was from 10 Kilometer Trailer Park, and there was a whole movie, and it was in TIFF, and it was directed by Adam Agoyan. Yes, I can see it right now. Yes, so when I say I'm in the lab with the pen and the pad, technically somewhere out there, it's not all about this world. It's about different dimensions and universes and places you can remote view as well. And technically, yes, of course, Eminem is Canadian somewhere out there, and somewhere out there equals still this, right? Just because it's a different dimension or a different universe does not mean it's not this. You need to expand your mind. You need to consider that everything is part of this. So, yes, Eminem is Canadian in another universe. I just remote viewed in live. Sarnia is a province there. They have a Hall of Records. I looked it all up. The people are supremely kind. It was a magnificent experience. What else can I tell you? Try to get there yourself. It's possible. But anyways, this episode's flying by, and I just have to have a good podcasting attitude. Half of this is having a good podcasting attitude. Once again, we apologize for the massive break, but we hope this is worth it. We got the tone. The tone is here, and we shall not fear. Yeah, I can rhyme. It's possible. Lots of little things are possible. Some things are impossible. But yeah, I mean, what else you want to know from me? There is a lot of, stuff going on in Canadian entertainment. Yes, the Toronto International Film Festival recently wrapped up. September is all about Canada's take on film. I heard that there were a lot of great Canadian movies at this particular festival, says my buddy Joel. Thank you, Joel. He's my TIFF insider. So if I'm ever talking about Canadian film or whatever, I have an insider, and his name is Joel, and he's been a previous guest. If we remember, rewinding back to the amazing Wicked Witch tell-all interview. Yes, I predicted the success of Wicked. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not being arrogant. This is self-love. There's a fine line between arrogance and self-love, and sometimes I find I don't do self-love, or I haven't been doing self-love for some of my life. So I think that's self-love. Okay, anyways, so I did predict the success of Wicked because everyone remembers last year when I announced in August or so that I was going to dress up as the Wicked Witch in Halloween. And I did on the day of Halloween, and everyone loved it. And then Wicked comes out, and of course it's a success, but no one wants to give a shout out to the Canadian entertainer who kind of gave the appetizer for that success. You know, when you have an appetizer that's like out of the park, and you're like, this is going to be a good dinner. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes people are like, Canadians are too polite. They don't go after it. So I'm going after it. You guys know, everyone in the cast, I'm sorry, but yeah, let's not forget about that. I put my heart and soul into that Wicked Witch costume. And the 31st of October, it comes around every year. I did really debate being Captain Phasma this year from the Star Wars sequels. How does this connect to Canadian entertainment? Well, George Lucas wears plaid. He's not in charge of these. Plaid is something that you see a lot of Canadian lumberjacks wear. There are hints of Canada in George Lucas's work. For example, the Sebulba. I grew up with so many people that were so similar to Sebulba. And the whole pod racing thing, it reminds me of the graduated licensing system in Ontario. Anakin, you know what? I've said this many times, but episode 1 of Star Wars, it has undertones and themes of the graduated licensing system in Ontario. Everyone doubts you when you get your G1. The G1 is for international and interprovincial people. G1 is our learners, right? And I just have always thought, as I got older, as I got my license, I finally understood Star Wars Episode 1. I was like, oh, this is a story about someone who's learning how to drive. He has to make his own car and all this stuff, as some people do when they're about to get that learner's license, or the G1, as we say in Ontario, Canada. And then he graduates to the G2 when he gets to drive the Naboo Starfighter sort of thing. It's simple. We know it, and that's true. And then, of course, and this happens to some people, they get their G and they turn evil, right? They think that, oh, I control the world, and the Death Star, right? So I do believe that Star Wars is technically the whole story. When I look at it, I see what George Lucas was wearing in the background, the flannel. I see, it's quite obvious to me, it is a metaphor. It is a sort of, it alludes to the graduated licensing system in Ontario. Look in it, do some research, learn a little bit, and you will know with your heart that that is possible. It's certainly possible. So yeah, I just really noticed that. So yeah, I do technically think that, that it's the whole Star Wars saga is just about the graduating Ontario licensing system. And if we look at where some of Return of the Jedi was filmed, it's California. Yeah, and what is a city in California? Ontario, CA, Ontario, Canada. Come on, guys, it's right there for you to see, and you just need to open your eyes. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm being a know-it-all right now, but I guess I am, and I have to own it. Something goes over me when I wear this Breathe Right strip, and I should have corrected myself because it's not Breathe Right brand. Of course it is Life brand. And I guess it helps me breathe better. So I'm breathing this Ontario air right now, and my thoughts and ideas are flowing so much more succinctly than they usually do. It's from one idea to the next idea. And this is technically how I'm supposed to think. This is what I've been missing out on. Why did they not put one of these on me in my younger years? I do not know. Maybe they said he's going to know too much about the Canadian entertainment industry. It might do a disservice to him. He might be sort of a target to bullying. So, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But, I'm getting older. So maybe as you get older, you slow down a bit. So maybe it's time for these ideas to be flowing fast, because without this, the ideas could be as slow as molasses on a Tuesday in Saskatchewan. So you got to think about that. And I have not been to Saskatchewan yet. We know Chapel Roan has been talking about it in the infamous Subway song or whatever. I have some insiders from Saskatchewan, and they're saying, Chapel, buddy, get over there and do your thing there. Saskatchewan Roughriders, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Everything is coming together right now, whether you like it or not. You just have to believe it to be true. And what do? That is just... I am a size 8.5 shoe, and I've always found it fascinating when you look at the tongue on a shoe. I have noticed you have a US rating, you have a UK rating. And in Canada, we have to ask ourselves, why do I'm calling myself out here, why do I know my US rating but not my UK rating, when I know that the UK, we are governed by the same king? So why am I not looking at the Canadian aka UK rating? It's just so, you have to ask yourself these questions or you'll become sick in the head. So it's, we come up with, we really just, we experience revelations in real time on this podcast. It is a transformative experience, and I once again thank y'all for the bottom of my heart for tuning in to this thing, once every 26 days, but it's just, there's just been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And just trying to keep up, just trying to keep up, and yeah, sometimes I think to myself, well, gosh darn it, when when can I because another thing that does come in the way sometimes, as much as I love it, but this other thing I do during the day sometimes, yes, it's a form of Canadian entertainment, mowing lawns, raking leaves, shoveling snow. People are entertained by it. It brings them happiness and joy. I am entertained by it. The leaf is on the flag for sakes. So of course it's part of the sphere of Canadian entertainment, and it's what I do, but sometimes it's and I've told you thousands of times, I'm trying to do everything in this Canadian entertainment sphere. So yes, I'm picking up, yes, during the day, I do this other, in my pie chart of things I do in the Canadian entertainment sphere, I do this during the day. This is how I do Canadian entertainment in the day. I'm raking leaves. I'm shoveling snow. I'm mowing lawns. Yes, we have lawns in Canada. We do. And we use Kentucky bluegrass for some reason, which is interesting because of the connection with the Kentucky man himself, Colonel Sanders, who lived famously in Mississauga for many years. So you have to ask yourself, is Mississauga fried chicken MFK? That's what I call that. And in Canada, we should call it MFK because there is so much Mississauga in that fried chicken. I can't eat it because of my multi-decade battle with Canadian celiac disease. Canadian celiac, I think, is a little bit different. That's a whole 2-hour episode. But anyways, and since we have that already established connection with Colonel Sanders, who, yes, look it up, lived in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada for a couple of years, why are we calling Kentucky bluegrass that, yes, lots of lawns in Canada use this seed? Why do we not call it Mississauga bluegrass? Because the connection is there. It is so strong. Enough said from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. You must ask yourself these questions. You never know when you need to ask yourself a question. I hope you understand. I just ask myself questions every day, and that's just part of life. But yeah, I guess what I was alluding to is that, I'm doing a lot of this raking of leaves, shoveling snow, which is fine. I'm happy to be doing it, but sometimes it takes up too much of the pie in the Canadian entertainment chart. But it's my most lucrative form of Canadian entertainment. It keeps the proverbial podcast lights on. I just wish I could find a way to make everything else more lucrative. It's a crazy world we live in, and that's just one of the things that we have to do right now. But just gotta figure it out one moment at a time. One lovely moment at a time. As I've said for thousands of years. I've said that for thousands of years. I am getting into the spirit of fall. Autumn is upon us. I've always had difficulties with September, despite it being TIFF. I didn't always know about TIFF. I knew about TIFF, I think, when I have a brother. I have two. One of them went to York University, and he worked at Binghamton's water park in Kitchener. during the summer, first summer back from York University. And he comes back to Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. I'm just a farm boy there. Well, I'm not a farm boy, but I'm just a... And he tells me the stories of TIFF. He tells me the lovely stories of this magical festival that I had no idea about. And then I thought about doing QUIF, Kitchener-Waterloo International Film Festival. It hasn't got off the ground, but I think it's one of those ideas like E equals MC squared. It's something that Einstein did not... He did not write that in a day, right? So, yeah. You know what? I found out that I'm almost positive there was a moment in time. International listeners, this is a learning moment. But there was a moment in time where Kitchener-Waterloo was, I believe, referred to as the Twin Cities. And then they accepted Cambridge as one of their own. And it became referred to as the Tri-Cities with a silent Cambridge. Remind me to come back to this. So it's now the Tri-Cities, but was the Twin Cities. So in many ways, Kitchener-Waterloo is kind of like... I swear there's a Twin Cities that they talk about in the movie Fargo, and perhaps it's Minneapolis and Minnesota. So maybe that is where I come from, the Minneapolis and Minnesota of Canada. But it would not be a Canadian entertainment podcast that is relevant without covering the massive news out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. This is our top story. We have saved it for the tail end of the podcast. But Mr. Justin Bieber, who has released 2 musical albums, see, he knows what you have to do in the Canadian entertainment industry. He's released 2 musical albums this summer. Go Justin, you're a kid. You're awesome. You're awesome. So he's released these 2 albums, and last week the whole province was abuzz. The Tri-Cities were abuzz because Justin Bieber was spending a lot of time in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. I believe he went to Chicago Pool Hall. He went to a karaoke place. He went to a coffee shop. And I know I've been away from Instagram Reels for a bit, but, you know, I want to walk the places he walked. I want to go the places he goes. I am aspiring Canadian entertainer, so I feel like being in some of these places will give me insight and subconscious knowledge on where to go next in the sphere of Canadian entertainment. So that's an upcoming Instagram reel. I want to do a bit of a pub crawl. And when I say pub crawl, it's just a colloquial term, a journey, a route, a tour. Sometimes you call tours pub crawls. So I want to go to all the little spots and see if I can be fulfilled with some subconscious wisdom of how to do this Canadian entertainment thing. And I think it's 100% possible. But it looked like he is having the time of his life in Cambridge, Ontario. Did he go Fast Eddie's? Not everything's photographed. Not everything's documented. Sometimes there are certain moments in your life that are just for you. So I'd like to think he went there. And did he go to the 3 pillars of Home Depot outside of the Cambridge Center? I think there's an 80% chance. I've heard reports of every time people go to Cambridge that they visit the 3 pillars of Home Depot outside the Cambridge Center. And if you're an international viewer not following along, it's so great to learn new things day to day. Every day you got to learn something new. And you are learning a lot about Canadian entertainment. And there's a chance in your life, it happens to some of us, you may find yourself on Jeopardy, formerly hosted by Yes, a Canadian. But anyways, and there might be a Canadian entertainment category. I would hope some of this episode might be playing in your head, because I'm sure there will be a lot of little notes and sort of rhymes to what we are talking about that you would have to answer to in that. So I'm so floored and so emotive over the news of Justin Bieber having a moment in Cambridge. He drove on the roundabout, I'm sure. The roundabouts, which I first experienced in Kitchener-Waterloo, they spread all over Ontario. Hip hip hooray for Kitchener-Waterloo. They spread all over North America, but Kitchener-Waterloo, they took they looked over the pond, what's going on in England. They said, we're going to try that too. England's Canada as well. They said, we're going to try that too, but on the other side of the ocean in the southern Ontario Peninsula, in a place called Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. Iron Needles Boulevard is the Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard. Oh my gosh, that's the answer. That's the answer right there. There was a popular movie called Sunset Boulevard. I need to make my own spin on it called Iron Needles Boulevard, and it will be a success that we haven't seen for such a long time. I must work on that screenplay, and I must consider the funding that I need to get. And do we enter it into the Kitchener-Waterloo International Film Festival, essentially, which some people call, as I've called previously, the E=MC squared of Canadian entertainment ideas? You have to ask yourself that. Every day you ask yourself a question. Every day you answer your question with an answer you've come up with, or an answer you have reached to the stars and taken from the collective conscious. Now, on the top, we are getting close to the end, my friends. Do not fear. It is what it is. You can re-listen to this episode. There's a lot to learn from this episode. But I made a smashing video the other week of my thoughts of Algonquin Park. It needs to be a location for Jeff Probst and his lovely band of survivors to go to. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. Jeff Probst, we want you there. We want you on Whiskey Rapids Trail. We want you on Highway 60. Survivors ready? We're in Highway 60, just outside of frickin'. I don't have a producer. It's not Elmer, Ontario. It's somewhere close to Huntsville, but there's a town. It's called Mitchell or Elvis or something. Elvis, Ontario. We're at the side of the road in Highway 60. Survivors ready? Go onto Whiskey Rapids Trail. Make camp, and we'll meet you for a reward challenge. See how you last in the Ontario wilderness. You will be surprised how much fun you have there. Outwit, outplay, outfun. Survivor, the Ontario Outback, Algonquin Park. It writes itself, Jeff. I mean, like I said before, Fiji's lovely. I'm sure. I've never been, but I'd love to go and just really experience life there with you. I'd love to be the second celiac to participate, but maybe we do it on my home turf, right? Boston Rob, he would have loved Survivor that took place in Boston. So it's only apropos that Ontario Ben would love Survivor that took place in Ontario. We all have our own biases. That is just the way this freaky deaky life works. Life is so fascinating. And I've always thought that the Italian peninsula looks so similar to the Ontario peninsula. The first time I saw Italy on a map, I said, they are literally jacking the swag of Southern Ontario, and they must own up to it. So Italy, I'm waiting. I think we all are waiting for you guys to acknowledge that you literally copied your whole thing from Southern Ontario. And I mean, we've been polite about it. Canadians are polite. Ontarians are polite. But a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been talking about it behind the scenes. And, you know, a good friend will tell you when people have been talking about you. So, Italy, people have been talking to Ontario. When are you going to acknowledge that, yes, Italy kind of looks like, I'm going to say it, Ontario. The Ontario Peninsula, the Southern Ontario Peninsula. Some people call it the most important place in all of recorded history, the Southern Ontario Peninsula. So I would love for you all to visit here. If you're an international viewer and you are considering visiting, let me know and I'll let you know where to go. That seems like a great place to stop for right now. I'm not getting paid by them, but thank you, Life Brand. This changed my life. This made my ideas flow so much faster than they ever have. Once again, we're so sorry for this break from the bottom of my heart. But thank you all for tuning in once again to the Canadian Entertainment Podcast with your host, Ben Stagger. It is a pleasure, as always, to talk to you guys. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Sorry, I was filled with Canadian self-love and Ontarian self-love on this episode. I'm not always like that, so when it happens, you just have to let your love shine. But I love you all. Thank you so much. Sorry. But that's the perfect word to end the episode on, is it not? You'll get it on the drive home or whatever. Anyways, thank you very much, everybody. We shall talk to you soon.